Good morning and happy Tuesday. Welcome to Mornings on Main Street for this Tuesday, February 21st. I'm your host, Stefanie Miller. We have another great show on tap for today. We sit down with the winner of Hell's Kitchen Season 21, Alex Belew. He talks to us about his experience on the Hell's Kitchen show, as well as what's to come for him in the coming months. And then we sit back down with Officer Dylan Lawrence to talk about prevention versus punishment when it comes to the law. So a lot of information coming from him that you will be interested in. That's coming up just a little bit later. First, taking a look at our headlines for this morning from some of our papers as you're looking through. So a new approach to curbing violence in Nashville has been the focus of recent discussions among some top-ranking officials in Nashville. Now, since the beginning of the year, there have already been 17 homicides. So the new approach, this is what it is. They're looking at a group violence intervention, GVI. A team from John Jay's College's National Network for Safe Communities has been working with Nashville for over a year on the city's violence problem. Now, one of the next steps in Nashville's GVI approach is the hiring of a case manager to work with individuals who are at a high risk of involvement in gun violence. You can learn more by going to mainstreetnashville.com. And then Nashville State Community College is seeing success with its dual enrollment opportunities. Dual enrollment courses give credit for both high school and college classes. Now, joint enrollment awards only college credit. Some of the credit is being attributed to the Better Together partnership with Metro Nashville Public Schools. And you can read more about the opportunities for dual enrollment and all the information there by going to mainstreetnashville.com. Well, one of Sumner County's most influential residents, Bill Puryear, has passed away. He passed away February 16th at the age of 89. He'll be laid to rest this Friday. Now, Puryear was an avid historian, artist, and author. He was also a veteran, a successful businessman, entrepreneur, and educator, philanthropist, and community volunteer. He did so much there in Sumner County. For more on the life and the contributions of Mr. Puryear, you can go to hendersonvillestandard.com. This is also where you will find visitation and funeral information. Now let's get a check of that forecast and a joke for the day from Justin Kulik. Hey, Justin.
Hey, how's it going, Stefanie? How are you today?
Good.
All right.
What do you have for us?
I got a great joke for you. I just had a quick question for you. When a woolly mammoth sits on top of your igloo, what time is it?
I don't know.
It's time to get a new igloo.
That's for sure.
So that's the joke. Here is
nice.
Weather. So your day today is going to be pretty nice. No chance of rain as we go throughout the day. Partly cloudy. The sun's going to be poking out just a little bit. As we get into the night, clear skies. Lows 59, so might be a good bonfire night. But as far as sphere of winds or anything like that, we're all in the clear. That's your weather.
Thanks, Justin.
Welcome.
Well, it is not only the hottest kitchen, but one of the hottest shows on TV. I'm talking Hell's Kitchen. We have the pleasure today to talk with season 21 winner Alex Belew from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Alex, it was super cool to watch the show and watch you win. So thank you again for your time.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, you're welcome. So the picture that you see in the screen here that I have, this is you hanging your portrait up as the Hell's Kitchen winner. What did that moment feel like? Because I know, again, you go weeks without seeing your family, your wife, your kids. And my favorite moment of the show was when they walked in and your wife touches you on the shoulder and you just jump up. What was that like for you all of a sudden to have them there after so much stress?
I said a potty word when I saw her, and that's the first time I've ever cussed in front of my mom. And so I felt like once it registered that she was there, I was hugging my wife and I was like, oh man, I just cussed in front of my mom. I'm 41 years old and I'm still worried about that. So it was the perfect moment. You go 4, 5, 6 weeks without even talking to your family. You don't have a phone. You don't have communication with the outside world. And it was tough. And so for them to be there right in that moment, it was very sweet.
I imagine it was. So Hell's Kitchen season 21, Battle of the Ages. So you have a group of 20-somethings, a group of 40-somethings. You were kind of on the lower end of the 40-somethings there. What was that environment like?
The entire environment or being on different teams?
I guess being on different, well, both, honestly.
In the beginning, when he first announced what the theme of the season was, you can see the dread on my face. Like, we're outside and he's like, this year is going to be Battle of the Ages. And I was like, no, God, no. I mean, and here's why. It's not that I'm not an ageist. I don't dislike old people. I apparently am an old person. But as you progress in the culinary world and get older, you become less of a cook and more of a manager. The mechanic is gone and you are now running the whole show. So there was a lot of fear that they would not be up to date with the newest trends and techniques. Maybe their cooking wasn't up to par anymore because, you know, that's a muscle that you use. And if you don't flex that muscle, it tends to go away. And so to know that I had some people that had worked at Alinea and 11 Madison Park and some of the best restaurants in the world on the other team, that was really daunting for sure, to be on the team of old fogies.
Well, you know, you have quite the history in restaurants. I can say I had the pleasure of working with Alex once in a capacity at a restaurant in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, many, many moons ago. I believe we were in college at the time.
Long time ago.
It was, but you've always been in that restaurant. You've had a lot of years in the restaurant, and then to owning a restaurant there in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, Dallas and Jane.
Yep.
So I think your take throughout the show, you have a different perspective of, you know, running a kitchen, running a restaurant. How did that help you?
I mean, you know, when you go through really hard trials in life that seem like they're going to break you, all they do is get you more equipped to handle harder things that come down the road. And so there was a ton of stress and pressure, but to me, it was like, okay, I mean, I already do hard things and I've already done hard things. And so this is just another hard thing that I feel pretty equipped to handle. I mean, at the end of the day, even though I got so many punishments, all I was thinking in the back of my mind was, I mean, I'm doing punishments for Gordon Ramsay. How bad is this? Like, I could be taking out my own trash. I could be sorting my own peppercorns, but I'm on Hell's Kitchen with some cool people. And, you know, there other than like the sleeping situation, there really wasn't much to complain about.
Well, and not to bring this up, but probably the most punishments in Hell's Kitchen history.
Close. I think I'm third. There was a guy named John who came back to be a sous chef at the very end, and I think he did 12, which is pretty much just like a punishment every single day.
Oh gosh.
And then Megan, who I'm apparently the male version of, I don't know why, but she also did 9. They're backbreaking. You see 90 seconds of a punishment on the show, but some of them took 15 hours.
What?
Yeah, like they're lengthy. You don't even understand. Like, it's back-breaking. I'm tall, so being hunched over a prep table, sorting grains of rice with tweezers, you'll want to kill someone for sure.
You took it with such grace and just, I don't know, good attitude. And something else I thought was phenomenal, the look on the fellow contestants, their faces at the end when you were announced as the winner. They were all, you could tell, pleased and happy for you. It was genuine. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we all still talk almost every single day, and it's been 13 months since we filmed. I mean, we are genuinely good friends, especially like there's a few, I mean, Brett, he had pink hair in the show. He lives in Murfreesboro now. We're great friends. Obviously, Alejandro and Daphne and I are really great friends, but we're all still connected. We have this common bond that threads us all together, this shared PTSD experience of you know, Hell's Kitchen. It's pretty crazy.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful to hear. Where do your inspirations come from?
I mean, everywhere. You know, the me that you knew in college, I killed him a long time ago. So thank God. But
Stop it. No, you were always great.
I just love to learn. And so it doesn't really matter what I'm learning. I'm just a fan of doing it. So I have tons of cookbooks. I love to go explore new restaurants and talk to different chefs and go work in their restaurants for a few days just to learn new techniques and new fundamentals and new skills and new flavors. Obviously, I'm Southern. That goes without saying. You can just hear the twang. But, you know, you only know what you've been exposed to. And so I have tried to expose myself to new things. for me at my age, Nashville, when I was working there throughout my late 20s and early 30s, was not the culinary mecca that it is now. There weren't a lot of chef-owned restaurants. It was a lot of Stony River, J. Alexander's, the Houston's, that kind of thing. So it's been a hard push for me. I didn't come up with the internet. I didn't come up with all of these chefs. And so for me, it's been a little bit of a late exposure in life.
Yeah. We are not done with Alex just yet. We will have more from him right after this.
Welcome to the Omni Nashville Hotel. Urban elegance with a vintage touch. Our 800-room hotel opened up in the fall of 2013 with 746 guest rooms and 54 suites.
Welcome back to Mornings on Main Street. We have more on our conversation with season 21 Hell's Kitchen winner, Alex Belew. Here's more from that. Well, tell us about your fascination with fried chicken first off, and that winning dish of your chicken wings.
I mean, who doesn't like fried chicken?
If you don't like fried chicken, there's something wrong. Let me just say.
If you don't like fried chicken, don't talk to me. It's just delicious. I mean, you soak it in buttermilk. It's crunchy. It's packed with protein. It's just, God, it's manna from heaven. It's so delicious. We're just going to gobble it up. Between that and like a double smash burger, that would be my death row. If you're going to kill me, feed me those two things first and I'll probably be okay. The winning chicken wings, so many of the things that I did in Hell's Kitchen were Dallas and Jane recipes. And so really every time I won, it was like such great validation about what I was doing at my restaurant.
Yeah. And
I love crappy Chinese takeout. I mean, again, I love like General Tso's chicken. It's delicious. And so for me to make a wing that was to use techniques that were, different. I confit the wings first, and then I hard fried them again to get them more crispy. And then I made this umami, sweet, salty, sticky, spicy sauce, covered them with like crushed peanuts. And then, a lot of wings get carrots and celery. So I just pickled some carrots real quickly to give you some acidity and some crunch for the wing to kind of freshen up your palate.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, there's no time when they tell you the challenge. There's zero time to plan. You're just cooking, and it's like, I'm just going to do this. And then you wind up not even knowing. There were a couple of challenges where 20 minutes went by and I was like, I have no clue what I'm actually doing right now. I'm just going to hope it works out. And then in the end, you present your dish and you're in your head going, okay, what do I call this thing? Like, I don't even know what it is. This is a hot dog. Well,
obviously it did work out for your wife. What would she say that how you changed from, I guess, when you went into, to shoot Hell's Kitchen season 21 to the Alex Belew that came out after winning?
I mean, I was exhausted. That's one way. I don't know that I've, we filmed this thing so long ago, and the last year has just been me waiting to be able to even talk about it. Like we couldn't talk about it. We couldn't share anything about it.
Oh, wow.
And so it's just been a year of like, okay, well, we're waiting on this big thing to happen. And then, so when it finally hit on Thursday, 2 weeks ago, I mean, it's been a lot to keep up with. The influx, just social media in and of itself has been wild. I've gotten 20,000 followers in a week on Instagram, and they all send messages of like, congratulations and so excited for you. And I want to respond to all of them. And that's a lot. That's a full-time job. But I'm just not used to it. Like people come up to me at the gym, people come up to me at the airport, people come up to me, and I'm just still a dude. I'm just still this dum-dum from Murfreesboro. it's just, I can't even figure out words to say. It's that weird.
No, I can only imagine that it is. Alex, it's completely amazing. And again, so happy for you. Want to say congratulations on getting the key to the city from Murfreesboro. I saw that post of yours. How was that? How did that feel?
That was surreal. I mean, standing in front of the city council, you kind of feel like you're trying to get out of a parking ticket. So I didn't know how to act. I just felt like I was in trouble standing up there. But it's such an honor. I mean, for Shane to give that to me, it was really a big sign of respect and honor. And I don't know, that's one of the coolest. It's sitting on my mantle. My boys wanted to hold it. I mean, it was a cool moment to, at the end of the day, all I've ever wanted to do is show my boys what that hard work pays off. And I want them to grow up and be respectable men that work hard and provide for their families. And hopefully I'm doing that one day at a time.
I'm sure that you are. So as the winner of season 21 of the Battle of the Ages, you did walk away with a hefty prize, $250,000 from that. And then also, of course, that head chef recognition for the restaurant in Atlantic City. What's next for you? How will that be used? What do you plan on doing with it?
Well, the $250,000 is not the prize, actually. So if you take the job, that is a $100,000 salary. So then the prize is $150,000, but then taxes take out $45,000. So when you get it, it's about $100,000 in total, not $250,000. I will be in Atlantic City part-time. It's not a great place to raise a family, and the contract is for a year. So we've come to terms, and I'm going to be with them starting once a month in March. And then we're going to figure out the rest of the schedule, probably do a summer residency for a few weeks in June or July. And I definitely want to be involved. I want to be with Gordon and Christina as long as possible. It was a tremendous blessing to be there, and I had a blast. So the amount that I'll learn, and I think it'll just be fun. It'll be a great time.
It will be. 5 years. What are you hoping for, Alex? 5 years, 10 years from now, what would you like to have?
I mean, I'd love to have my own show. Honestly, I would love to have my own food, music show. If we can blend those two things together.
Okay.
Come on in. My wife's just getting home from the grocery store.
Oh,
hello. I mean, I'd love to have a restaurant again. I would need some support for sure. I was pretty much doing it alone last time, which was exhausting. Yeah. But I don't know. I've said it 100 times. Like, I'm a guy that can get really interested and excited about a lot of different things. And so at the end of the day, I want to wake up and say that I get to go to work, not I have to go to work. And if I get to say those things, then every day's going to be fun.
Alex, God bless you. Just wishing you all the very best. Congratulations again, season 21 winner of Hell's Kitchen. Thank you again, Alex, for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you, Stephanie.
Stick with us here on Mornings on Main Street. We have quite a bit more coming up right after this.
In Music City just hits different. It's one big honky-tonk party. It's the sea of gold in the crowd. The goals, the saves, the celebrations. It's an experience like no other. Don't miss a minute of the action this season. Visit NashvillePredators.com/tickets to get your seats today. That's NashvillePredators.com/tickets. And we'll see you at Bridgestone Arena.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
It was just a few cocktails at happy hour.
You really good try. There aren't any cops around.
I didn't think there were any cops around.
I drink and drive all the time.
Sir, you've been in a serious crash. I need you to hang on, okay? Cover your name, sir. You are right now.
Welcome back to Mornings on Main Street. I have Communications Officer with the Clarksville Police Department, Officer Dylan Lawrence, with us this morning. Good morning, and thanks for being here.
Good morning. I'm glad to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you. Officer Lawrence, I've gotten to know over the past, I'd say, 12 months, kind of here and there in town. But we have a topic today that really hits all, and we're talking about safety to children who use any computers, who are online at any point in time, which seems to be all of the children out there and all of the adults. So we're talking about prevention versus punishment this morning.
Yeah, that's, I mean, like you just said, every kid out there, even I think in Montgomery County school system down to middle school, has a computer that they're given that, I mean, and it's not as restrictive as everybody thinks. Think back to, you know, when we were a little bit younger and, you know, the internet was first coming along, and not to date myself too much, but
dial up,
AOL chat rooms.
That too.
But, you know, we knew how to use that a lot better than our parents did.
Right.
But they just believed whatever they saw on TV, you know, that it's this giant, it's the Wild West, it's this giant vicious thing that everybody needs to be, you know, protected from. It's not that anymore, but it's a lot less about catching your kids and more about just talking to them and saying, hey, this is what's kind of expected from your time dealing with the World Wide Web. If anybody actually calls it the World Wide Web anymore.
I haven't heard that in a minute.
I know, but things as simple as, you know, they're on a game and they're talking to people. It's just a game. They're just talking to people until you have a person on the other end, and all of a sudden your kid is giving out their information. Not normally a big deal, but it's one of those, hey, are you sure that you're talking to a middle school boy in Minnesota and not a 30-year-old man that lives down the street? There's no way to know because there's that shield of anonymity there. So a lot of it is just about talking to your kids, saying, hey, this is what's expected of you. I'm not going to try to catch you, but there's that big difference. And that's a question I get asked a lot. You know, we want to protect our kids. Obviously, as a parent myself, I can't imagine anything more terrifying than somebody driving up in a van and taking my child. But when you start adding in all these social media things, it's a lot different when that child is sneaking out to go meet somebody that has a van that they're going to willingly hop in. It's that big difference. And it's that big barrier between parents and children sometimes, because as a former child myself,
we've all been there.
We're all invincible and we all know better and we all know what's going on. So,
and it's not going to happen to us. And I think where the big difference is compared to when we were kids, and those our age when we were kids, we didn't have the internet at our fingertips with our cell phones.
Yeah, that's another big one. Just telling somebody, you know, oh yeah, I go to school here. You don't know who that other person is. Right. So it's less about monitoring. You can't monitor everything your child does on every form of internet there is. You just like we were a lot smarter than our parents, they probably are too. So it's less about trying to catch them and more about just letting them know this is what the reality is. Don't scare them, but just have that talk.
So what are your tips on talking? I know you've probably talked with a lot of parents or gotten, you know, as a police department, you guys have had these conversations. What are those tips so your child will listen?
Again, just try to get down on their level a little bit. Say, hey, I've been there. I know, you know, this was a lot different for our parents because they never knew, you know, they don't understand the reach of it all. We understand that. And now that we have children ourselves, we can say, hey, I know how easy it is. I know that, you know, meeting somebody, you know, and chatting with them and forming a relationship, however you want to phrase that, is the new sneaking out. But it should carry the same kind of weight to it. Know who you're talking to rather than thinking you know who you're talking to.
You have some smart parents out there. So say if they do encounter their child doing this and they do know, say the other side of that conversation is coming from an adult, how do they report that? How do they go about doing that?
That is a much harder thing to do because again, that anonymity that we were talking about, everything is behind this wall. The same with if you get a scam phone call, you can't really report them because they could be down the street or they could be countries away. So the best thing that you can do is just monitor. If you know that this is a person, you have a name or a phone number to go with it, great. Call us. We can do a report just so that it's a report. If it's something a little, all you have is a gamer tag, then just keep an eye on it, monitor it, do the best you can to protect yourself and your children.
Last question, how do they monitor? Are there systems out there, or are there applications that would help monitor a child's activity online?
There are. A lot of them are built in. If you just, for myself, iPhone is just what I have. If you go into all the parental controls, you can pretty much do everything straight from there. There's also programs that you can download that only you can interact in, but it monitors your child's thing when it comes to phones. I know Xbox and PlayStation and certain PC versions have parental controls that you can put on them that limits their ability to communicate outside. But just like everything, the more somebody plays around with it, the more they can find a way around stuff. So the best thing that you can do is really talk to your kids rather than try to catch them.
Thank you for that information. We do appreciate it. Again, Officer Dylan Lawrence, the communications officer with Clarksville Police Department. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Stick with us here on Mornings on Main Street. We have more coming up right after this.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Welcome back. Okay, another reminder to send in those birthdays and anniversaries to us here at Mornings on Main Street so we can give you a shout out and say happy birthday or happy anniversary. Send your name and where you're from right there to smiller@mainstreetmediatn.com. Looking at your national days today, it is Fat Tuesday, meaning Mardi Gras celebrations are getting underway in New Orleans. Always a fun time, crazy time down there. On this Fat Tuesday, it's a time to reflect on the eating rich, fatty foods. It is a yearly ritual, and this is always ahead of the Lent season. Today is also National Sticky Bun Day, so enjoy one of those ooey, gooey, yummy sticky buns for this Fat Tuesday. Why not? A couple of other weekend events to highlight for you if you'd like to head out on Saturday to the Bledsoe Creek Maker Market and Craft Fair. This is happening in Gallatin, Tennessee at the Bledsoe State Park. Starts at 10 o'clock Saturday morning. This is for, everyone and anyone who would like to go, but also for like scientists, artists, engineers, and crafters that are out there. Make your way to the event at Bledsoe Creek. They'll also have food trucks and music on Saturday as well. Thanks so much for joining us here for Mornings on Main Street on this Tuesday morning. We hope you have a blessed rest of the day, and we'll see you back here on Wednesday.